How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Mega Roller 31. How you doing tonight, Mega? Are you ready for some Xfinity action at Dover?
We'll see.
What is the cause of your concern?
Oh, I don't know. It's just like with qualifying and stuff, you got a lot of good cars towards the top. I think it's gonna be a very difficult build. I mean, like nothing like really sticks out to me. So as we talk through it, maybe more things will come to light. But it's obviously the cream has risen to the top. We had practice, we had qualifying, and which is good because we're not like sitting here like trying to figure out who might do well. We know like where the qualifying order is, so that's a blessing for the whole weekend. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's not often we get a Xfinity or truck race where the qualifying's the day before. Usually this is the same day qualifying. So this is a nice treat to have here on a Friday night. All right, so let's get into it. Leading us off here, we'll go with the top 10 to start because, like you said at the top of the show, lots of guys here in this top 10, potential dominators to choose from. I think it's going to have to be one or the other in this kind of format, not because, so let's start off. Let's just go with Brandon Jones. What are your thoughts on him?
This is where I really struggle. He's on the pole, but you can pass here. So it's not like Gregson or somebody or Mayer or Barry or Gibbs can't get out in front of him. Like some of the other tracks where like clean air, right. Like once the car gets out there. He's cheaper than most of these other guys, but he's Brandon Jones. And I know he's done well here, but it just doesn't seem like traditionally the type of track we play him. And even though he's having an okay year, he's still volatile. So I don't know. That's why I marked him as cash, not a prime play. I think he's very, very high, maybe probably the fourth highest owned guy in the field, but I just don't know what to do with him.
Well, I certainly think it's fine for a cash block. I think the pole sitter on any 1 mile track is going to be highly owned and potential for some type of domination. But, guys like Gregson, Gibbs, they're not too far away in the starting position. So maybe a restart or two. Maybe there's,
maybe he'll fail tech tomorrow and he'll have to start back with field and we'll be like, okay, there's our answer.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe something like that arises, but there are other ways Brandon Jones can fail. Certainly has proven that in the past. There's a train of junior motorsports behind him, so I could see a reason to fade in GPPs. Maybe cash. I would try to have the pole sitter here, especially for 9,400. But I could see my way around it. Next up, we have Sam Mayer in the number one. 9,700 is just too expensive for me, starting a little too high. I don't think he has that dominator potential with all the drivers around him, so I'm probably out on him.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think he's a GPP to a fade. He's wrecked a lot of cars recently. Would it absolutely shock me if he gets out there and leads like 30, 40, 50 laps? No. But honestly, I think the ownership on him is going to be so low that it's not going to really hurt me in cash.
Yeah.
So I think, he's a good GPP play. But then again, like I said, he's starting way too high. If he crashes and finishes 36, your day's over. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything as far as track history here as well. I don't think he ran here last year. So I'm out. Next up is Noah Gregson. Last year, what did Noah do? Did Noah have one of those patented Noah moments where?
No, it's just like the setup wasn't good. So they kind of missed it. There's no practice or qualifying. So the car wasn't great. So he was at
top five. Yeah, one top five in the last 5 races here. But this is a much different season for Gregson. 11-1 is pretty expensive.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't really give you much wiggle room as far as other dominators or other place differential plays.
Yeah,
that are come with a price tag. Yeah, your thoughts?
I start my GPP line out with him. I don't think I'm playing my cash line.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, hey, I certainly understand it. He's having a really good year. Mile track. It's going to be some laps. The A game 200, 200 laps. So I could understand it. I might slightly like the next guy here, Josh Berry. With that 1,000 you get in discount. Josh Berry in one race had a top 5, led 48 laps. Looked fairly good at a track like this. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like him, but I think there's a couple other guys further on down in the 10K range that I'd rather pay in cash, or you're
Really?
saving, money taking Jones. So I don't know. It's kind of no man's land in this upper pricing, but I do get the play and do like it. I just don't know if I can work it in.
Understandable. All right, maybe I'm gonna have a GPP theory tomorrow with Barry. Just randomly like him here. Uh, Next up we have Ty Gibbs, 11-4, quite expensive, but Ty Gibbs proven to be a big factor this year, and not bad on qualifying either. What are your thoughts?
Again, who is he? He's aggressive, so yeah, can he get out there and lead and dominate and win this race and definitely pay off his 11-4 price tag? Absolutely. But just from what I've seen from him and just tangling with all these people and just building a whole network of hatred among his
Yeah.
peers and fellow competitors, I think he's still a GPP play until he matures a little bit, not as a driver, but as his character overall, and understands racing is give and take, and towards the end, make your move, that's fine, but just there's got to be some sportsmanship in it. And I just don't think that's there yet, and that just concerns me. Having the highest priced driver with tons of talent, has a very good car, but has the potential to be knocked out by 37 other guys.
Yeah. Didn't really finish that well at Martinsville either. I think, or did I pass him? Well, he finished 8th. Brandon Jones came away a winner that day. Let's see what other kind of mile tracks.
It's hard because the only comparison really to this one is Bristol, and they didn't run here, and the ones that did run here is dirt. So
that's true. Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, you can't fade Ty Gibbs.
No, I'm not definitely not saying fade him, but I think he's more a GPP play for me than a cash one.
Okay. Moving on to Riley Herbst at 8,800. Much like Sam Mayer, this is just going to be a pass for me. Started too high. I like the price tag. I know it's hard to pass, but I don't think he's proven that he's going to finish inside the top 5 starting 6th. I don't have that much confidence in
it. It Daga where it's easy. He couldn't get I put money on him to win the race. So we thought okay, the stars are maybe lining up and he's could be a first time winner. And he's looked good at certain parts of the year, but he just couldn't. And maybe he's just not a great plate racer, but I just don't see it here. I think he can hang around the top 10, probably finishes top 15. But again, I just don't think with all the hungry hippos up here, I think he definitely falls down.
Yeah, he's odd man out. Next up is Justin Allgaier, 10-3. It's a solid price tag. You get a little bit of a discount from Gregson and Gibbs. Allgaier, I wouldn't say he's been in the best of form, but certainly a guy that you can trust. Your thoughts?
Decent at this track.
Yeah, he's got a win in 4 top 5s in the last 5 races. He's done really well here.
Yeah, so I definitely think he's a cash play, and I think I'm gonna try to get him in my cash lineup. I think there's enough value to support 2 to 3 of these higher priced people. So yeah,
I mean, I would say you could probably fit 2 of these 10K drivers up here.
Yep.
I would say it's really hard to get Gregson and another 10K guy, anyone above 10.5. I think it's pretty hard. And you're gonna have to really punt and really go with multiple guys lower than 6K and just hope that there's some crashes and they can make their way to the front. I don't know. I mean, we'll get to value in a little bit. It's odd. We have a lot of the high price drivers in the top 10.
You have like Starr and Parsons and Emmerling, and even though he's starting higher up, barely Curry's in really good form with these track. There's 5K guys right there, so it is possible.
Sure. But there's also a car we'll talk about where you absolutely must have him in your lineup, and he's not 6K. So
no.
It's like roster construction will be pretty different tomorrow. I think it makes for an interesting race. All right, Allmendinger starting 8th, 16 car, 10-9, a little too expensive for me, but hey, it's a mile track, kind of suits his game. Small track, road course. He's kind of made all of it his game of late. But in one race, he's got one top 5. I could understand it. He finished 4th.
I get it. I think it's more of a GPP play. I'm not really like out of all the other guys, like I think he's like a tier below, like down with like Barry. I mean he's not like Herbst and Meyer. They're like a tier below. They'd be like tier 3, but I think he's like clearly in tier 2.
Yeah, I just don't like 10-9. I don't like that price tag. Next up is John Hunter Nemechek in the 18, 10-6. I think I'd rather play him over Allmendinger, but I'm pretty torn on what to do with him and Allgaier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to play him. He's in like the all-star car here. Yeah. It's not the one that Chandler Smith is in the Sam Hunt one. But when he ran the Sam Hunt one, he did really well. This is even better equipment with usually Kyle Busch's Cup, or like one of the Cup teams usually is the pit crew for this. I mean, they're at the same track, so it's a Gibbs. He's a decent driver. He's had Cup experience, even though like he didn't do well up there, but he's been dominating trucks. So I think a lot points to him like really having a good race in this car.
Yeah. I'm pretty torn between him and Allgaier, but I could definitely see myself potentially trying to play both. And then I'll go with Barry in the GPP, and maybe I'll be fading Gregson and Gibbs in cash, which would be pretty risky, but maybe I can get a little bit of place differential with Allgaier and Nemechek and get a potential dominator out of them. Next up is Anthony Alfredo. I would say he's had a better past couple of weeks than he did at the start of the year. So maybe they've dialed in the 23 team for this team, but starting 10th is probably a pass for me.
Yeah, he's way too far up there. So
price tag's nice, but I don't like the starting spot.
Way too high.
If he was like 6'5", he would have my interest. But I think the 7K range is just, it comes down to probably 1 or 2 drivers, and he's not one of them.
You can start 25th here. That's where we need him to start, really.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Sheldon Creed in the 2 car for Richard Childress Racing. Been a pretty decent year for Creed. 8,600, starting 11th. GBP maybe in like the 150 max, but anything inside single entry is a no for me.
Yeah, 86 is too expensive here. If he was like more like 76, I think, but he's like $1,000 too high.
Yep, totally agree. Next up is Chandler Smith in that Sam Hunt Racing machine that you were talking about. Lovely price tag here at 7,300. Chandler Smith, a better driver than that price tag. I love your prime play position here. I was definitely going to feel the same way. So I'm in for the 26.
And I think a lot of people are going to be off him because like we touted him as a prime play last week. And I don't know if he got in a wreck early or had a mechanical issue, but like he was like finished dead last and screwed a lot of people over. So, but if you look at who the driver is and like the quality of this car and the program for the whole year, I think that he's definitely better than and that. 73 is a great price for him, starting 12th, and potentially, even though he's not an Xfinity driver, he's a truck driver, I think he belongs here.
Yeah, he's a good driver for this car, and I don't mind that price tag. That's what really sells me. Definitely not going to play Jeb Burton at starting 13th in the 27 at 8,400. That's a
Agree.
just, yeah, no dice for me. But in 2 races, he does have one top 10. So it's potentially possible, but that was in a colleague car. This is in run of the mill our motorsports for 1,300 more than his teammate who's been running better. So no thanks. Bailey Curry starting 14th, JD Motorsports 5,200. I think he had some pretty decent practice times, didn't he?
Yeah, and the thing is besides like Dega and I think Daytona and maybe have they done a road race this year? I can't,
I
can't
believe
but
they did
basically the half mile, like the tracks that are similar to this, he's finished top 20 all year. So that means that he at worst could lose 6 points.
Sure.
If
And
200, even if he loses 6 points and finishes 20th, let me just look up 20th, you get 23 points for.
Yeah.
So
no,
that
I like him.
he
I
would
like
definitely
Bailey
get
here.
17 points.
I think people are going to get too obsessed with the place differential on the back, and Bailey Curry starting and finishing within that 14th starting spot is just going to do as much wonders at 5,200 as it would somebody at 58 starting 28th and finishing 25th. So I really like the potential here. 15th in the average lap, so he's got some speed in that car. Next up is 44 I'm going to go with Rajay Caruth, Alpha Prime Racing, 55. Cool story. Did fairly well in his start earlier this year. I believe that was at Martinsville. Or might have been Atlanta. I'm not sure. But he did fairly well in his first start. But starting 15th, I don't have any takes. How about you?
Yeah. I thought he was more of like a road course guy, but like I said, short track, sometimes some of the principles with braking, everything do work. But I don't know. I really haven't seen much of him. I think he's starting too high up here. I think he has potential to finish like 25th. So I think Curry is much safer.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for somebody in this range, you have, like I said, Starr and like Williams and like Ummerling. There's other guys lower down with more place differential. So too dangerous to play him here.
Yep. Next up is Brett Moffitt, 7,800. Another R Motorsports. Looks like they qualified pretty well. In the 02, Moffitt's team has been around the longest. 7,800 is a fairly decent price tag. I mean, there's some opportunity here. Your thoughts?
He can finish where he starts or not better. He's got a top 15 car.
Yeah.
I think. So
I don't hate it. I don't love it at the same time. I think he's all right for the player pool, but I'm not flocking to him as a major play. Next up is Daniel Hemrick, Colleague Racing, 9,200, starting 17th. I don't love the price tag. You get a little place differential if he can show up, but man, Colleague's just not the same this year with the Cup Series going on.
here's the problem. I've once I do my projections and my homework and stuff, then I go out and look at like other sites and who they're touting. A lot of people are super high on him as a cash play, place differential. I don't understand it, but in my builds, I keep on landing on him.
Yeah, that might be the reason. He's
keep
just
on,
like an optimizer's dream.
like even if I throw Brandon Jones in at 94, I keep on ending up with like around like 9,200 left in the builds that I'm making. And it's just like, okay, maybe they're on to something. Last guy in. And then I like tried to rebuild to see, what I come up with, and I didn't really like it. I just skipping down to, I debated like, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll play him in one line, but then the other one, like I played like Austin Hill, and then I think I changed Nemechek. I had a couple like 100 more, so I think I went up to like, or no, I think I went up over like off of Jones, and I got up to like Barry or something like that. So I'm like, okay, that'll differentiate that line. So it's just weird, just in the builds, like it's a magnet. It's just like sucking me in. I don't know.
I don't think it's a terrible play though.
No, it
He
isn't.
didn't do well on lap averages though for practice.
And look
But
at how many like years like how many races in Xfinity he's been the bridesmaid. Like he finally broke through at Phoenix, but like he's been up there top two, top three consistently. So I don't know. I think it's a good play. I'm not sure it's a cash play at 92, but I can see it. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
sure. Landon Castle is teammate for about $1,200 less for around the same starting spot. I can even point to a couple of, starts here in recent where Landon Castle has finished fairly well, and he did have a decent finish at Martinsville. I believe he was second. I don't know. Maybe this is a good short track car.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
That was a resounding confidence.
I don't know. Like Castle's like at first we're like, he did really good last year. He got a lot out of poor equipment. And this year
car is better than the 10.
Yeah, I gotta maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
so like it's a whole huge conundrum here because like he wasn't good to start out the season, but his recent form hasn't been horrible. So
Yeah, the recent form's okay.
I don't know, but I think I feel more comfortable with GPP. Just I don't think like ownership's going to be like huge on him either. I think more people are going to flock to well, I think this is kind of no man's land besides like the one that's $200 more than him is probably going to be like the second highest owned, if not the highest owned guy, but we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah, him and Creed and all the other AK plays and high sevens, they're all not going to get played.
Yeah.
They're all going to be low owned. So there's leverage in that construction for game theory. So yeah, colleague. All right, GPPs. Alex Lebay, I'm out.
Yep, same.
Yeah. 21st lap averages. If he starts where if he finishes where he starts, good for him, but that's risky. Austin Hill, I think I'd rather play him over Hemrick, to be honest. 17th in lap averages. Let's see if there's any history to point to here. Probably nothing in the Xfinity Series.
I feel so bad for him last week too.
Mm-hmm. Hemrick in 2 starts has 1 top 5.
He
average finish is 7, so maybe that's why.
He absolutely dominated that race and then got spun out at the end. So, and if there weren't like, cautions, like he could have run away with it. Like he almost treated that like it was like a dominator race. He was like,
sure.
So I think maybe, the one that got away, I think he has a good day tomorrow. I know 9,000's a little, it probably doesn't fit in most people's builds, or maybe again, it's a good pivot to get you, your last guy in isn't as putrid, if you drop down to him at 9K over trying to pay like 10-9 for like Allmendinger or somebody like that.
Or trying to reach for someone like Sam Mayer.
Right.
Or trying not to be overexposed on someone like Brandon Jones.
Right.
And then you get a couple extra place differential points that I think that you can do better on with Hill over Hemrick. So I like that play more than those plays we just mentioned. I would probably split ownership from Jones and Hill and then have a pinch of Hemrick and try to be underweight to the field on Hemrick. But looking over the recent history, I understand why people are going to Hemrick. He's got a top 5, an average finish of 5th. So I could see why people like Hemrick here. Kaz Gralla, 48, the Big Machine Racing. Is he just taking over this ride over Jade Buford? I feel kind of bad for Jade. I mean, he's not a terrible driver.
Yeah, like it was a good. I mean, Jade struggled a little bit, but this car's been fast. So, not like blazing speed, but it's been like faster, like fast out of like the average cars, like not the big team cars. So, but I think this is gonna be a very high owned pick with the pricing, with the place differential, and
66 is nice.
Yeah.
Look to some practice times here for Kaz, and 12th on the average lap. So count me in. Brandon Brown, 7,400. Any thoughts?
I think he's a little bit expensive. Like you're in a range here. I think all these guys are pretty much the same play with Cascarella, Brandon Brown, Parker, Ratzel. If he's going to be with the Ryan C card, it's going to be very popular. Also, I believe in Jeremy Clement. I think out of all of them, like the 7,400, you can save like almost $1,000 just by playing one of the guys around it. So I think he'll have low ownership. He makes sense with all the rest of these guys, but I think it's almost all the same play here, these 4 cars in a row.
Yeah, and I think I would probably lean with Parker and Kaz.
Yeah. And I think
and
that's where the ownership's going to be definitely.
yeah, and I like Clements as well. So I could see Brandon Brown just being a little too expensive for probably similar results. So good analysis there. I think that's really strong. So yeah, you like Parker, you like Clements.
Parker has had 215s at tracks like this. I think he was like 10th at Richmond and 11th or 12th at Martinsville, if I remember.
Yeah. Parker didn't do too well on the lap average, but heck of a driver for the kid. I mean, and then Clements 19th. I think I would favor Clements and Gralla over Retzlaff, but I think I'll have a slight ownership on the 38.
Yeah, and the 38's a good car too.
Yeah. Okay. My Snyder 76. The price tag's coming down finally.
Yeah, but Jordan Anderson, I've seen some mechanical issues, and I would prefer one of these 6K guys just in front of him than playing him in cash.
Yeah, I would even play Brandon Brown over him. And possibly Moffitt as well. Next up is Ryan Vargas. No. Yeah. David Starr, 5,400.
I like this play.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's been solid. This green light racing car. Joe Graff has been horrible in them. Everybody else that's been in them,
that's true.
Been good. And David Starr really hasn't been that bad. So
no, he's came through for us a couple of times. I like Bailey Curry over him.
Yeah.
I probably like Starr over Ellis.
Yes.
Maybe I would go with Parsons over him, but I'd say he's better than
even in the BJ McLeod car. I think Parsons has turned into he's going to be in maybe take over like Alex Labs, like DGM. He's probably going to not jump up into like one of these top tier guys, but I could see him like maybe in JD Motorsports. Maybe he gets
takes over the 6.
Yeah, 6 and 4 next year. I think I see big things for him coming up.
Yeah. Next up we have Ryan Ellis, Alpha Prime Racing in the 45. Any love?
I respect the program, but it's the Tommy Joe Martins, and like we really haven't seen Tommy Joe Martins. It's kind of like he stepped back and been more like the team owner than an actual racer. Ellis is okay, but just in the context of people around him, I would prefer like Starr or Parsons. He's okay, but I think there's better plays.
Agreed. Kyle Weatherman in the 34 is a no for me.
No, Kyle Weatherman's a good driver, but this car has been horrible. So yes,
he can only keep it afloat for so long. But 29th, no. If he was starting like 38th, possibly, but correct. No, too far forward. We spoke on Parsons a little bit. It sounds like you really like him as a driver. 5K, I'm gonna have to play.
Yeah, really like that one.
Yeah, so if he's going to continue to move up, 24th in lap average, he could get 5 or 6 spots here. That's a couple points, and I like that play. Yaley and Groff, I feel like are the same driver here. I think that price, too expensive. Parsons, Starr, probably better plays. Even maybe Ellis, but yeah, out on those two. Josh Williams and Massey. Any thoughts there? Or
Williams is getting better, but like he could barely qualify a couple races ago in the Speed Cloud car, so I just don't trust it.
Yeah, I'm probably out on these guys.
Massey hasn't been bad, but he had some mechanical issues, I think, or He
Mhm.
just hasn't done well the last couple of races. Of course, throw tail they got out even before that. So
Yeah, you can definitely throw that out. Yeah. Yeah, Massey, like, yeah, he's had some moments, but practice didn't look good. Um, maybe look to what he
there's a
did.
reason these guys are qualified down here.
Yeah, what I mean, I'll look to see what he did at Martinsville. Maybe there's a little bit of a comparison there. Oh yeah, 33rd. So no dice. Chad Fincham, surprised he's in the field, so no.
Yeah, yesterday's game. I put him as GPP just for the price and he really can't lose you much, but I'm not super
Sure.
good.
Yeah. Not my cup of tea. Patrick Emmerling Gase Racing 5100.
This car's not bad, and he's a good driver. So compared to some of the other guys down here, I think he's a cash play because I think he can move up like 5 or 6 spots.
Okay. Next up, we have Matt Mills in the 5. I don't know, kind of tapered off since the start of the year.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna have to play an AK driver, I think he would be it. Or 4K, excuse me. Wow.
yeah, definitely. I think he's got the second best TJ McLeod car. Like,
Yeah.
it was the best one last year. He's not that bad, but he's average DK points this year at 13.72. Like, he just really hasn't been doing well. And I don't know if I think it's the car more than him, but still,
Yeah.
he said you can't it's scored on a 40-point system. So even if he finishes 38th, you still get 1 point for him. I mean, you could lose if you ended up playing like Caruth and you could lose like 5 points, once he like fell down and you subtract all the negative place differential. So
Sure. Okay. This comes to probably the major point in the show. Locking it in, Ryan C.
yes, I don't know what happened. Like,
Something had to happen in qualifying, and I didn't, and I missed it.
yeah, I did.
But these 5th lap average in practice is
Even if he wrecked the car and he's in a backup car, his backup car is much better than any BJ McLeod MBM. Like,
Emmerling Gase,
yeah,
Green Light,
yeah.
Wuji, Alpha Prime,
Yeah, because they have like 5 cars and they only fielded like what, 2 of them here.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
'Cause
true.
earlier in the
They
season,
have 3. They have 3 numbers.
okay, they were
I
running.
mean, they have 5 drivers, but they only have 3 numbers.
No, they were fielding 4 or 5 cars
Oh,
earlier.
wait, they did have 4 at Talladega, didn't they?
Yeah, so
They had like an 18 or something. No, not 18. Oh, stupid. It was like a teens digit car. Can't remember. Maybe it was 12. I don't know.
one
I'll
second.
invest. I'll invest.
It's in my OneNote file.
All right.
Okay, let's see here.
I swear it's Talladega.
Xfinity 22. The cars in Ryan Sieg Racing are, they have the 38, the 39, and the 28 also.
28, that was it. Okay, so they all end in 8.
And I think they own the right to 93 also, which was Jeff Green's car, but then again, I think there was like another one that popped up too that was RSS. So I think it was like somewhere in like the teens, like a 17 or something. But anyways, the point is they have plenty of cars. So if he did wreck the car, then it's fine because probably the backup car is a primary car,
right?
Run someplace else. So they just throw the decals on it. We're good to go.
Okay. That'll wrap things up. Any final thoughts?
No, I just like that. Like, it's a very challenging build because Dominators up top, so many
stars and scrubs.
You really want to try to find at least 2 to 3 Dominators in this one. Mm-hmm. And your favorite lineup is going to be your cash one, and the rest of them play 20 max and just start rotating 2 or 3 guys in. So if you get a core of these cheap guys, throw like Emmerling and Parsons and Starr and or Curly together, like 3 5K guys that you trust. And then, Sieg and 2 guys up top, or you might have to do like Sieg and 2 guys in another mid-range one, but you're just going to rotate between your dominators in the 20 max, and between the 2 or 3, you pretty much can cover everybody. So doing the Chrome Horn is $4 is going to cost you $80 if that's within your bankroll. If not, like do the dollar one, it's going to cost you $20. It's
Yeah.
no big deal, and you might win 1,000 if you hit it. So it's good ROI.
Yeah. I always do the 50 cents to get a lot of 150 max in.
Yeah.
Then I bust out those $4, $1 20 entry max. Try to field a smaller pool, then open it up a little bit towards that 50 cent, and try to get lucky. Expand on my exposures. This is probably a really good MME slate. I wouldn't say single entry is kind of tough, but yeah. All right, that'll wrap things up, guys. Thanks for listening. Please like and comment below with any questions you may have. You can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. That is at MegaRuler31. Mega, thanks for joining. Thanks for breaking this down with us, and good luck tomorrow in your contest, everyone. And so yeah, we're off to Dover.
See ya.